Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This is my review for Rememory. Gordon Dunn, a visionary scientific pioneer, is found dead shortly after he unveils his newest work, a device able to extract, record, and play a person's memories. Soon, a mysterious man shows up at his widow's door, claiming to be a friend of her late husband. After stealing the machine from the house, the man uses it to try and solve the mystery of Gordon's death, beginning an investigation of memories that lead him to unexpected and dangerous places. Yeah, crazy stuff. This is a 2017 film, rated PG-13. I would claim it as a sci-fi, I guess. It's hard to explain. I'll get into that, though. This movie stars Peter Dinklage. It's on the front cover. The only person that I think I knew was Anton Yelchin, but he's done a lot of better stuff than this. So I'm not going to really play it in too much that they had somebody else other than Peter Dinklage, but alright. Well, we'll start at the very beginning. I didn't know what to expect from this movie because I didn't know what it was about. I don't know if this made theaters in 2017. I heard it because I get referred movies that are like other movies I've seen, and so I got this to come up, and I got the DVD from the library, and I watched it. It's a very sad, very humane, feeling kind of start, and so I was very invested right away. Right off the bat, I was like, okay, cool. Then it gets into what the movie is really about, and you don't really know what's the truth, and you don't really know if people are telling the truth at the moment that they're saying something, because half an hour later, we're finding out that something else is going on, and, it gets very confusing. So if you're thinking that this movie is going to be entertaining, that's the wrong word to use. The biggest thing for me about 20 minutes in is the music that they were using. So it's da, 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 and I was like, this is just going to be awful if you keep up that music. It's not helping whatsoever. It's just making the movie slower, and it's not helping the mood or the scenery or and me focus on what's actually happening in the movie. It wasn't helping. So that right there kind of started off things really on the wrong foot, and I might have missed some things at the beginning because that music was driving me crazy. But then we kind of got past the whole knowing things at the beginning and weird start, but we had to start putting the puzzle pieces together. So it has a decent story. Like 3/4 of the way through, you're like, oh, okay, this is getting good. This is like a kind of CSI kind of thing, but I can take it, and I can find out who killed this guy. Okay, all right. But it's very confusing along the way, and like I said, you don't know if when people are saying something, if they're being sincere, or if they're saying something to throw somebody off. Good old Peter is a great actor. Most people know that from the hit show that he's on, and other roles that he's had of significance. He has to use like 10 different names. A moviegoer has to wonder why, and we have to wonder what his real deal is, other than his backstory, which gets talked about plenty, but the things that he's doing, like what's his inspiration, and he's so dramatic with everything. I can tell that for a smaller person, he acts like he's not a smaller person. He is such a great actor, and he really brings it in this movie, but it's like almost out of place to be so serious and to be so skilled because it doesn't require that much. It just requires you to go talk to some people and try and figure something out. And it doesn't take, Shakespeare acting skills to try and figure that out. I hope that makes sense. So I appreciate the actors that are in here. I appreciate what they did. I feel like it was a little over the top for what this movie required. The point of this movie is that this guy is dead after creating his, technology. And really, all Peter's trying to do is like what I take from the movie. And this might not be right because it never explains it. What I take from it is that he's some normal guy. He had an encounter with this genius, and he wants to figure out for himself, since he was able to steal this machine, in the ways that, in the information that he has, he wants to be able to figure out who the killer is himself. I could have had Nick Cage in that position. I could have had 10 other guys that are really good actors play that role. So I appreciate what the guys did that were in this movie. I just felt like they were handed something and they're like, oh man, let's make this really dramatic and really strong. And I'm like, I didn't exactly need that. The only other thing to say about the story is that I think they told it in a weird way. I think they decided to go the route of trying to throw us off as movie watchers, and then they themselves got confused. One of the last lines of this movie is it refers to a story that was told to us twice. It's changing a fact about that story and saying that he knew the person he was talking about in the story before they met. And then they just go on. And I'm like, what? You told that to us twice. You expect us to believe it both times it's told, and now you're changing it? It was just the small little things like that just messed up 20 minutes of watching, an hour of watching, 2 hours of watching. The ripple effects are just insurmountable sometimes. And then Peter Dinklage's character, at the end, he kind of goes back to being his normal self. He's a model maker for business people, like high rises and stuff with the little trees and little cars. He does that for a living. He kind of goes back to that at the end. I'm like, okay, so he really was a normal person the whole time. But then he goes back to his normal schedule, and he tells one of these fishermen near him his real name of Sam. It's like, okay, why were you using 10 names during the movie? Are you a contract, detective, or, are you, out for revenge? We never got explained what really his character was. And I would have appreciated a little bit more clarification rather than confusion. And then the ending was fine, which I appreciate. As a critic, I'm always looking for movies that actually have some kind of conclusion or decent ending, or people not walking off in the distance. But this one has him going back to his routine. We get conclusion of the mystery, but we don't get conclusion of characters and their interaction with each other. And some people are on the screen for 2 minutes, but then it mentions them at the end. Well, don't do that. Just end the movie. You don't need to mention people that were on the film for 2 minutes. So I didn't hate this movie, but I didn't really get it. So I'm just gonna give it a C and wash my hands clean. It's an okay movie. I want people to watch it. I want you to get an opinion of it. People that understand it are probably going to really enjoy it, and I want to enjoy it. I just don't really get a couple things in it. So, a C for Rememory. I hope you all give it a watch. My name's Danny. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of great stuff coming still. and enjoy your movies. Thanks a lot.